Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm really excited for because it is all about Local Honey. For those of you who don't know, I own my own company. It is a clothing brand called Local Honey. And my website is livelocalhoney.com. I recently changed that from localhoney.blog, which is exciting. I'm a .com now, I'm official. But yeah, and this has slowly become a huge part of my life. Anybody who knows me knows that I put my heart and soul into Local Honey and that it's pretty much 90% of my thoughts on a daily basis. There's nothing I really care about more in my life right now than Local Honey and the growth of it and the future success of it. It means a lot to me. And so today I wanted to answer some frequently asked questions I get and just kind of clear it up, spread the word, I don't know, just get my message out there because I feel like I'm really misunderstood when it comes to that whole thing, and that you guys have a lot of questions that you just want answered. I mean, there's some things that I get asked so often. There's obviously some assumptions being made. So just here to clear the air, answer all your questions, and hopefully get you on board with my brand. So first of all, how I got started and why I got started. So I moved to Florida from Minnesota when I was 17 to start college, and I had already had a year of credits. So since I was like 16, 15, I was planning to graduate college in less than 4 years. Like, that was always the goal. All of a sudden, 3 years passed and a girl is graduating. Like, I'm approaching graduation, I'm only 20 years old, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do as my first step in adulthood. Like, it's terrifying. I have a degree in marketing and I have no idea if I even want to do anything to do with marketing, but I'm damn sure that I don't want to do PR for somebody else's passion, I guess. I always knew that I really wasn't put on this earth to make somebody else's dream come true. And some people are, and that's totally fine, but that's just not my thing. So easily I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And this was wild to me because once the thought first crossed my mind, I was like, wow, like, yes, 100% yes. I love every single part of being an entrepreneur and the idea of it. I want to make ideas that I have curated come to life. I want to see it and I want to be part of every step of it. Quite frankly, I just don't like being told what to do. So with all of that in mind, entrepreneurship seems like the best route I could be taking, which is also the scariest route that somebody can take fresh out of college at 20 years old with no, prior wealth in the family or experience with anything like that. Like, is pretty random. So I decided not to be fearful and to go for it anyways. I curated this whole business plan for what I thought was going to be a coffee shop called Local Honey, because where I moved to college here in Fort Myers, there really are no good local coffee shops. There just aren't. And where I grew up in southern Minnesota, that was a huge thing. Like, local coffee shops were it. So anyways, I started this whole business plan. It was a great idea, curated everything. All I needed was the funding, basically. I was in a program at FGCU that gets entrepreneurs started with their business, and through that program I actually realized that I'm not meant to be making a cafe or a coffee shop. I know nothing about coffee beans and that whole process, but I am passionate about running a business, and I do know a whole lot about clothes, probably more than I know about anything else and more than the average person knows about clothes. So why not take all the good ideas I've had and kind of fit those into something that I know well, that I care about, that I'm passionate about, and that I ultimately would want to work in the field of anyways, which is fashion. I've always seen myself working in a career in fashion since I can remember. So I took that business plan and I turned it into a new one for Local Honey, the boutique. And I just ran with it. Once I had the idea, I was so fired up. I was so passionate about it. Everybody was encouraging me and supporting me, and it was just like all the stars were lining up. This was it. So of course, after college, I had to get a real job gotta pay the bills. But on the side of everything, working 2 jobs, working full-time plus part-time, plus having a social life, plus adjusting to a completely new phase of life, I'm still running this business. I figure out how to start a website, how to make that website into a store, how to gain followers, how to market myself, how to brand my company, like how to do everything, because quite honestly, a bachelor's degree in marketing taught me maybe 2% of that. So I started from scratch and I built Live Local Honey up to what it is now. The next frequently asked question that I get is, do you make the clothes? Like, what are these clothes? Are they your designs? How are you doing this? No. Someday I would love to be a designer. I don't think anybody who asks these questions has any idea what it takes to be a fashion designer and to make your own clothes. But it's a lot. Like, I need a name for myself, first of all, because that costs so much money. Like, the production of actual clothes that are sellable would be absurd. I just, that's not possible right now, but in the future, wait for it. It is coming, don't worry. But no, I buy my clothes wholesale. I view my product choices from a platform of vendors and wholesalers who sell in, you know, large quantities, because they're selling to boutiques and to companies who sell their products to the actual consumer. Like, I am kind of just the middleman. You know, you can be a buyer for a company. Essentially, that's what I'm doing for my company. That's one part of my role, and that's how I obtain the inventory that I sell to you guys. And that's an interesting thing. People kind of get confused by that. Like, what are you buying 6 things off of Shein and then selling those 6 things? Like, no. I have a seller's license. I have a registered LLC, a tax ID, all of that, which was a mission to obtain. It costs a lot of money. It's a really confusing process that I had to figure out on my own, but I did it. So I'm a legitimate business that's, you know, buying inventory as any other clothing business would be doing and then selling it to the consumer in whatever way I feel is best. So that's basically just how it works and where the products actually come from. And yeah. Another frequently asked question that I get is like, what makes your brand different? Why do you think that you had to come around and start picking clothes for people to buy? And that is a great question, honestly. Like, this is the thing that I feel that I need to clarify the most, because obviously a profession like this can come across as very vain and very materialistic. But that's not what Local Honey is about, and I don't feel that my mission on this planet is to sell clothes to girls, as simply put. I'm passionate about that. I want to make women feel good in what they're wearing, and I really enjoy doing it for right now. But it's a much bigger picture that I look at when I think about making this an actual, you know, sustaining career. And that's through just women empowerment, spreading the idea of confidence and self-expression, all of that. I'm extremely passionate about a good lifestyle and self-growth, self-improvement, a positive self-image, all of that. Like, I know it's really corny and I know it's almost an internet trend right now, but I feel like I've always been really into that and to getting really in touch with myself and making every aspect of my life the best I can possibly make it, so that I can be assured that I'm living up to my fullest potential, basically. And that seems like such a silly concept, but it's something that I don't think enough people take the time to focus on, or would like to but don't know how. And I just like to be that guide, I suppose, and the best way I know how to do it is through clothes. But that ties into why I wanted to open a coffee shop. It wasn't so that I could give people the best tasting coffee in town. It was so that I could provide people with an environment and an ambiance that they can feel comfortable, that they can feel productive, that they can post on their social media, that they, you know, all sorts of things. Like, it just promotes a good, productive, positive lifestyle all around. It's about feeling good, looking good, which translates to treating other people well, to being kind, to, you know, being compassionate and caring, because when you care for yourself, you care for others. And I just want to spread a message of that whole cycle, basically, of living a good, positive, beautiful life and then spreading that onto others in whatever way they interpret into their own life to make them feel the best way possible. So that's kind of the mission of Local Honey, and that's my mission as a human being. That's what I would love to get out of this. And when I run into girls and they tell me that what I've done has inspired them to do something that seemed really difficult, or that like something that my clothes or my comments or something like that has given them the confidence that they needed in general, like there's no better feeling ever. I love that. I live for that. And if I could build a whole career off of that, trust me, I'm getting there. I'm working my way there, honey. So yeah, that's that. And the last question that I want to touch on is, why isn't this an in-person store, and kind of like, where do you plan on going from here? They kind of tie in together. So Local Honey, I would love for Local Honey to be an in-person store, and I know that's how I kind of first announced the brand, but I also don't think most people realize how much it costs to have a brick and mortar retail store. I've created business plans, I've made budgets, I've researched the living shit out of this, and I can tell you I need about $100,000 to make Local Honey an in-person store. That's just what it is. That's what it is for anything, especially in a market and a location where there would be any customers for me. It's gonna cost me about $100,000 at least to open a boutique. And unfortunately, I don't have that, and neither does anybody that I know. So I don't know how I'm going to obtain that money, but I've been spending the last probably 5 months dedicating all of my free time and open thoughts to investors, loans, all of that. Just how am I going to get the capital I need to open a brick and mortar, to, you know, make this brand everything that I envision it as, because trust me, the ideas are there. Like, they are not lacking. The only thing that is lacking is money. By the way, if any of you have 100K or know anybody with 100K that they would like to share with me, hit me up. Send them my way. It's a really difficult process for somebody who's just getting their foot in the door to get funding. You need profit, you need revenue, you need years of proof of success in order to get funding, but you need funding in order to get years of success. Like, you see the cycle, you see my problem. So currently, Local Honey is self-funded. I save up my paychecks, I save up all of the money I make on my inventory, and I put it right back into the company. It's difficult, you know? That's all I've got to say. I'm not complaining. I'm not asking for any praise or sympathy. I just need you guys to understand where I'm coming from and why my brand isn't where I would like it to be yet, although I am beyond proud of everything I've done so far, and I truly do feel that I'm doing nearly the best job I can given the resources that I have and that I'm working with, and it's just a matter of getting more and building those up. And I know it's gonna happen. Don't trip. Local Honey's not going anywhere. But that's where it is for now, and I hope that this answered all your questions, and I hope that now you can understand what it's like to be a 21-year-old entrepreneur woman who's really just trying to figure every part of life out at the same time as growing a business. If anybody has any advice, any insight, anything, I am so happy to hear your suggestions, to hear your thoughts, to take in the advice. Whatever it is, I'm here. I'm here for it, here to listen, here for you. You're a badass bitch. Don't forget that. I never have, and that's why I'm here. That's why I own a business. That's why I've gotten to where I am. But I love you all so much, and I hope you continue to support my brand. And yeah, have a good day, honey.